Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As looks about title of today's video, we're here to talk about the truth about spacing in NBA 2K23. So, as you're going to see in this gameplay, I have a 6'9" pure inside big man slash slasher, hybrid, whatever you want to call it. It's bad for spacing on the three-point line, apparently. That's what a lot of people would like to think. But as you can see in today's gameplay, I want to talk about the truth about inside bigs just in general and the truth about spacing. So, as you can see with their team, we'll go ahead and just scroll over this one real quick time. But we're playing against Yampa right here. One of the best guards in the game, if you ask me. I've known about this man for 4 or 5 years at this point, and he has been an absolute beast on the game and every year. But as you can see, very standard lineup. They have a 6'1" guard, 6'7" pure lock, and then a 6'9" popper. All of this included, they had a 62% from 3, 48%, and then Yampa around 48 himself as well. Actually 52% on Yampa. But nonetheless, as you can tell, their whole lineup has 3-point percentages in the 50s/60s, and all of them in total are really good with spacing the floor. They're obviously going to have the whole, just the 3-out offense, or in Pro-Am's case, or Rec Center's case, the 5-out offense. But you're going to see in today's gameplay why the spacing doesn't exactly lead to the easiest to really compete in the stage. And it's ironic because a lot of people would argue it's probably easier to 3-hunt with a popper build, where you have a big man that can just stay on the perimeter and it creates these mismatches. You can get these openings on the pops. But with this lineup that we have right here, we got Apollo on a 99 3-point build, and he's going to be 3-hunting pretty hard, and we're going to end up with me as a pick and roller slash slipper. Now, here's the thing. Apollo had a pretty wide open shot right there. It's all good though. As you can see, we're pretty freelance offense with it. We can still get our random buckets. We've talked about this in other videos, but that's not what we're here to talk about in today's vid. I'm here to showcase to you guys the complete just taking away of 3-hunting from Yampa right here, because it's 5-out/3-out offense. And again, you can kind of just run them off the 3-point line, lead them to dunks. Now with our offense, while they may want to force us into the obvious 2-point opportunities and stuff like that, what we can still do is crash offensive rebounds really good. So Apollo has the green light to shoot any and everything that he wants/can. And as you can see, we get him in the ISO with Yampa right there. Boom, we get the 3-pointer just off that. Now again, if they wanted to double team or something like that, where they just kept 2 guys up on Apollo at all times no matter what and left me wide open in the paint, either way, we have a 7-2 with Tonic right here and a 6-9 with me that both have 90-something offensive rebound rating and can still crash O-boards really reliably. So Apollo has that green light to shoot as much as he wants. With popper builds, you're too focused on the spacing on the 3-point line and being that outside offensive opportunity stuff like that, where you're really not going to get too many opportunities at an easy 3-point opportunity and to have a really easy offensive rebound too. And that's the big thing we're talking about, where it's not even the lack of the rating of the offensive rebound rating that you would have with the popper, it's the lack of being near the paint. Now, you will run into situations like this where Apollo was kind of getting boxed up. I'm ready to come back up and maybe set a little screen/slip. Either way, he gets some wrap around pass, really unfortunate turnover, and obviously, things like that will happen. But it does suck that in my example of what we're talking about right here, that obviously the tides shift a little bit in that sort of turnover aspect rather than chucking shots and us just not getting the rebound. But nonetheless, they're still keeping Yampa on Apollo. They can't really afford to just put Yampa on Tonic. If they do that, he really could shoot over them for most situations, and as you can see right here, they're still focused on not letting us get that. And also, just because I'm talking about this stuff doesn't mean that there aren't going to be unfortunate situations like this. As you can see, they double crash and we're a little bit late with Tonic crashing off the corner right there. It was really good defensive crash from them. As you can see, they were ready for the shot to go up. They see a really wide open shot, and as you can see, it just peels off the corner quickly. And Tonic's a little bit slow to come off that corner. I got a 2-on-1 down here. I jump early. It's unfortunate. I'm here to also still showcase some good gameplay though too. So as you're going to see, we end up with a little bit of an early deficit. They're going to score on this next possession as well and cut it to a 10-7 lead. You would think that with our inside, it kind of puts us in the dirt and really gets us playing from behind if they can just force us to take 2-point shots every single play after that. But as you can see, we end up with Apollo on the big man. We're trying to keep Tonic away from the pick and roll D. It's kind of just part of our lineup as well. And as you can see, they get the easy dunk. Now it's a 10-7 lead for them. And we are in a little bit of a desperation mode to look for some 3-pointers here. Now, what I'm thinking is I can hold some screens, see if they are willing to switch. Apollo gets a nice little walk back right there, but either way, he ends up passing out of a semi-open shot. What I also like about these, and I would actually be down for Apollo to shoot these because of this reason, I only have to worry about boxing out this guy if this guy has to commit to the contest on Apollo. So it's okay, and this is my whole point of the video, is talking about spacing. If I'm way out here, Apollo shooting this shot would be absolutely horrible, but because obviously I'm still in the paint consistently with the offensive rebound crashing, it's not a big deal if he shoots shots like these. I understand I did just give up a defensive rebound while trying to crash for the offensive rebound the last possession, but that one was with the guard really more so contesting Apollo. It was really even wide open for that matter, and they double crashed. are locked down in their big man. With this one right there, I really would have just been able to box out the center and the guard wouldn't have mattered at all. So it would have been pretty much a free rebound. But either way, it's all good. We're still perfectly fine with taking our twos, and it gets me my takeover. My takeover leads to even more speed, and on defense, that is really nice and important for defending these 6'1" that have so much speed and so much ability to just get past me and stuff like that too. And I obviously have to consider like his 3-point opportunities and stuff like that too. I can't just leave him wide open from 3 and really worry about the rim runs only. I obviously have to worry about the speed and just the ability to hunt those threes as well. Now right here, I tell Apollo to wrap behind me. We're here for a little quick drop right past him, and as you can see, we get our takeover off that now. And you can see Yampa gets his sharp take too, for that matter. And this is where things get a little bit scary, because obviously he can 3-hunt a little bit, but I pop my takeover to combat it a little bit. But again, this is where with sharp take and the ISO, he has the wing to wing all to himself. Now the thing that I can do with the lack of their 3-point line spacing, and this goes for 5 out and stuff too, what I can do is either play sides defense with this and tell Tonic that if he guards this wing right here, I can help and pinch off this wing on this side, and you're going to see he pushes it at Tonic right here. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. As long as Tonic doesn't get beat to the right, I'm here for his help to the middle, and then Apollo's here playing a 2-on-1. Now, as you can see, we commit to that, and now we are still playing those 2-on-1s as well. Tonic's jumping for his life, but it's okay. Again, we're here to pinch off the 3-point line because, again, their lack of 3-point line spacing allows us to do stuff like this. If Yampa works on the left side of the court, I can front the corner, and he has to hit some bailout pass to the corner, call cuts, whatever the case may be. But even if you're calling cuts, that means it's 2-point shots. So that's the point of the 3-out offense being kind of negated by the fact that you can take away those 3-point lines as well. Either way, 5 seconds left. Yampa goes for the drive right there. We're able to get a pretty good contest on it, but unfortunately, he gets the dunk to go, or layup to go, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, they foul on this possession. I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward to the point of where we actually call a play here. So I'm going to look for a Tonic a little bit on just like a quick little give and go, but he actually catches the ball cleanly and just gets a free dunk. So we're cool with those types of things as well. I think I did get a little bit risky with that pass more than I would have liked. Obviously, that's still a power forward with like 90 steal, and he can definitely still play lanes on that. And speaking of him, obviously, as you can see, he's there on the cut too. Now we got Apollo inbounding. This is where things get a little bit ugly because it's going to be full of just really unfortunate things when your point guard is the inbounder. Anyway, lots of reaching going on here. Yampa got another one. I cut that out. This dude got another reach in as well. Now you're going to see they do a little bit of maneuver here. Now what I actually call right here, because of the exact thing they did, they're going to be really focused on Apollo not getting the ball back. So as you're going to see, when I catch the ball right here, they're really focused on moving around that way and also focused on getting this little switch right here. They don't know who's supposed to be guarding who. And as you're going to see, we get Tonic on this little wraparound right here that I even called for that matter. It's so hilarious. I actually try and get in the way of this player, make it so he can't get around and be able to contest Tonic, and there we are, hunting the 3 without me even being able to shoot, just off the fact that I get in the way of the player. Now, you obviously can do that on a build that has shooting, but you can still do it without one, and as it really shines through right there. Right here, I'm trying to make sure I don't get beat to that left. We're able to just give up the drive. Again, it is what it is. It's not ideal when we get this late in the game because obviously we're still down in a possession. If we keep trading 2s right here, they're just going to win the game, obviously. And also, really unfortunate circumstances on this inbound. Apollo's kind of open, but they have 2 on him. I'm trying to hit this little comeback, but as you can see, they drift me like slower into the recovery on the pass. And now they get the turnover on that, and now a 3-pointer wins the game. Now they hunt the 3 a little bit too heavy right there, if you ask me, and as you can see, they get a semi-contested shot on Apollo. Their 5th reach-in of the game right there as well, and now we actually have a chance to maybe get this deficit back to how we should have been off that unfortunate turnover that we had before. Now check this out. This is actually a really fire play right here. Apollo ends up barely beating Yampa as he reaches again, and you know, that just is what it is. These guys are reaching a ton, and as you can see, beats him down court and gets a front fade 3-pointer to go with that 99 3-pointer. And as you can see, we actually get in the lead now. That's a huge 3-pointer to hit because now we actually have that 1-point lead goes a long way. As you can see right there too, they end up chasing the 3 again, and Yampa ends up with a little bit of a fade to the corner that he thought was going to be open. Tonic ends up jumping at this again, and as you can see, spooks him out of it a little bit. Either way, we would have been there to recover, whether it's to the corner, whether it's to the top of the key, and we would have been perfectly fine. But now is my time to shine. Now we got, obviously, as you can see, slash take on, and nobody even helps on some crazy stuff. It's game point right there, and they don't even drop. Now, you guys might be thinking like, oh, these dudes are so bad. These guys are like the worst stage plays I've ever seen. These are really good players. It's just unfortunate circumstances. Yampa is over here reaching a lot. But hey, man, it is what it is. Honestly, while this is kind of on Yampa for the reaching and stuff like that, I'm sure he probably would have ideally been guarding like Apollo in this situation. Like putting him on me is not exactly a good idea to do when it's literally game point like this, and I just need a 2-point basket to win. I know he's trying to go for the bump right there, but obviously I'm able to just kind of get out of it as well, snap the ball back to my right hand, and then boom, I'm just making reads right here. This is about the easiest read I've ever made in my life, to be honest. But either way, my point is the whole stat line right here. So while their 3-out offense would lead to obviously Sharp Take, shooter, that shot 60% plus, by the way, and then Yampa as well, 50% shooter himself. And as you can see, it leads to literally 1 3-point attempt in the whole game, and it was a contested shot too, for that matter. And we have 4 3-point attempts, and obviously, like the one that he shot and I didn't even get the rebound on, it probably should have been a reasonable rebound to get. Either way, we only end the game with 1 rebound, which is crazy too, but it's obvious because we only missed 1 shot, for that matter too, and it was only 1 missed shot on their end too. But my point is, I am a whole pure slasher right here, and they have 3-out offense, yet they're the one that ends the game 0 for 1 from 3, and we end the game 3 for 4 from 3. So we end up running it back on Yampa as well. This is the 10K court too, by the way. This is definitely some comp stuff right here. And also, for the people who are really, really dumb out there that are watching these videos, this whole brown overall stuff, it doesn't mean a thing. Obviously, I'm gold, whoop-de-doo. It really doesn't mean anything, because these stage players, whether they're comp, pro-am players, stage players, anything like that, they're playing the best of the best. If you lose to the best of best, it's definitely still more credible than winning against bad players. It just is true. That's just the truth. And that's me vouching for stage players in that aspect. And then on top of that too, if you play pro-am as well, you're quitting out of the games, you're getting your like status knocked down off quitting out of the games at the end to save your Gatorade and boost, etc., etc. So just don't judge people based off that stupid, like, you know, decal and stuff like that. It doesn't mean a thing. But anyway, into the second gameplay. Yampa's obviously seen our style, he's seen my defensive style as well, so now they know exactly what to adjust off of. Now, as you can see, we're still playing some pretty good defense right here. Now I'm watching the rim runs because I don't want them to get the easy stuff to start the game. I want to make sure they don't get those easy takes, but as you can see, he hits the Russell Westbrook on the lock. I'm very surprised at that. That means he has 80 ball handle plus as well. That's why I was kind of shook in that moment too. I was ready to drop and help Apollo, but it's just unfortunate I ended up a little bit late. Either way, Apollo a little bit open off that. Now we're going to end up with Tonic on a hop jumper way back to the corner. Interesting start to the game, but I don't really hate him for shooting those. It's definitely a shot he can make as well. Now right here, they're still getting a little bit 3-hunt heavy. Yampa could have had an easy rim run right there, but now he's going a little bit heavy on hunting the threes, and also, after having hunted threes for a long time, I'm not quite as worried about shots like this anymore. I know Amped is definitely a good badge, and people can still shoot through fatigue and stuff like that too, but if I can get a semi-contest on it, as you can see the open right there, I'm perfectly fine with the shots like that happening. I also get the flashy dunk in transition for more takeover as well, and just in general, free fast break, offensive take just in general. Right here, playing a little bit of size defense. I'm obviously chasing a little bit, but after he pop slips to the corner, it is what it is. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, the popper is what allowed this to happen in the first place. The popper going corner obviously forced our switch and allowed it to be Apollo in this defensive ISO right here. Now, what I would advise that Apollo could have done too, and I'm not here to dog on him, he played a really good game in this game too, and you're going to see it in this one, but what I would have said he maybe could have done right here is wall in this middle, force him back to Tonic, because obviously it's on this side of the court. My advice as far as guarding ISO, and now that I see it in this perspective, I'd probably be better at it for that matter too moving forward. But if you ever see the guard kind of walling himself into this wing, make sure he stays walled in there. Take away his left extremely hard, and really truly depend on your corner that's the same side as you right here to be the pinch and the help on these little short like wing shots right here, where if you were to move right, because obviously if you're forcing him right, taking away his left, that means he's going to go this way, and then just rely on Tonic to be your help, because obviously you can't really guard people straight up. As you're going to see, Apollo trying to guard him straight up leads to him just long running to the left, and I'm way too far away from this. You can't depend on me out the corner for your help. You'd have to set up your other corner for the better help too. But anyway, he ends up with a wide open shot, gets it to go, and there's your 3-hunting right there. So I don't want this to be a video where I'm talking about clearly, like, you know, us benefiting off me having the inside. That's not the case. I just wanted to talk about the truth about spacing in 2K23, and to talk about the fact that yes, while I am an inside build right here, you're not going to see us struggling to 3-hunt way too heavy in comparison to our opponents. Now right here, again, looking for that little fade shot right there. I'm also here for the pass backs, and as you're going to see, taking it away pretty good. He ends up getting a little rim run attempt, and I'm not going to lie, I probably like jumped for no reason right there. But Apollo, perfect defense right there to fake step. I'm here for the 3-hunt right here. Obviously, they're like moving around. They get a little 3 to go right there, but we're able to get a nice contest on it, and there's your 3 hunting right there. The truth is, at the end of the day, if people make their shots, they make their shots, but when you can't really get good, efficient looks or anything like that, true disciplined defense can really lead you to just getting good opportunities at contesting shots. You can see these guys are really in scramble mode. They're all moving around really heavy, trying to make a play and be blitz heavy and stuff, but we just end up with a wide open man off a lot of passes, a lot of movement, and a lot of just me seeing Tonic open the corner, Tonic seeing Apollo open off the wing because people react quickly and stuff like that. Now, on this defensive possession, we don't exactly execute perfectly, but I want to give you guys kind of the blueprint for what we exactly want to do right here. So we're still playing sides. I ideally just kind of want to play sides on PNR defense, pick and pop. It's really hard to fight through, especially with a 7-2 on the back end. It's going to be hard for him to even keep up with the pops as well. So I trust Tonic's on-ball defense a little bit more than I trust him trying to run around and guard a popper while still playing hedge for me on the back end. So as you can see, they put Tonic in the ISO. Now, what I would advise Tonic to do as well is take away the open side of the court. You want to obviously take away this corner and force him back to the middle, because I can help his middle, and then Apollo can help me on the wing and do exactly what we did with that 2-on-1 earlier in the game. But as you can see, he kind of just gets beat to the corner. It is what it is. It's kind of expected to happen every now and then. And if Tonic gets put in those ISOs, at the end of the day, settling for them getting a 2-point opportunity is not exactly the end of the world. All right, now this bucket right here is going to be an ugly, ugly one. As you're going to see, we're trying to work Apollo in the PNR. We got the guard on him, so I'm kind of just trying to let him work. But as you can see, I try and just fake a little like slip right here, but the lock fronts it crazy right here and blitzes him. So I'm just here to get out of the way. We got the guard down on me, and now albeit it's a pretty bad shot, to be completely honest with you. It's a 14% contest, so I don't really expect those to go at a consistent rate, but we do get a little bit bailed out right there. So now I'm once again guarding ball. Now here is where we finally get stuff to break, and this is why I say it's okay not to be a 3 hunting team as well. So right here, I'm trying to get this wing sealed in right here, because I want, if Tonic ends up in the ISO defense, to be able to play middle, and he can kind of just play like, you know, corner front from either side. Essentially what I mean by that is if I cut off this corner right here, the guard has to run back to the middle, and if the big pop slips corner, boom, it means Tonic is now in the middle guarding ISO. He can depend on either corner that's closer to him. I think that's the ideal way for Tonic to play ISO defense, for him to be up top rather than the wing. The wing's a little bit selective. People can get peak shots from like the middle and stuff like that. I don't like it quite as much. So anyway, I'm trying to fight over to the corner, but as you can see, he ends up kind of just trying to cancel out of it, because now he's kind of walled in. The way Tonic is playing defense right here, if the popper, and this is another thing too that I want to talk about because it's actually very important to this, if the popper would have just been floating out to the top of the key, it actually would have been a really great situation, because it could have opened up this baseline for Yampa right here, and he would have been able to just work. But as you can see, he's holding his screen, and this is why I also say, just because you're a popper doesn't mean you create good spacing for your teammate. If you're not ready to slip or pop or release or anything like that, it's just going to screw your guard over. And as you can see, it does right there, and we get a transition dunk off it, just off, again, the dude holding the screen when he probably shouldn't have been. All right, now what you're going to see right here on defense is really good discipline, and I want to explain like just the system that is allowing me to play disciplined defense right here. I get beat to the middle, but here's the thing. I am not going to overreact to the middle, because I know a lot of guards in their heart are expecting me to jump at something like this, and as you can see, I know that I can rely on Tonic to play a little bit of fake step defense, where he could even just put the fear in the guard a little bit that he's going to jump at this. And the truth is, bigs, while they might have horrible perimeter contest, they still get really good jump contests on the perimeter as well. So that is something that they still have to get baited by, and the fact that Tonic can still return to the corner even after this fake right here. And as you're going to see me, I don't overreact to the wing and like really like chase it that hard. I'm here to cut that off to the right, and I'm still here to return to the right. Now I get a really good contest again, but as you can see, Giant Slayer, fearless finisher, driving layup on a guard, all of that going super hard. Not to mention I grab the inbound, and as you can see, I get bump stolen by Yampa too. That's really disappointing. And they're able to get back in the game off stuff like that as well. But we are still here to try and play some disciplined defense. As you can see, kind of playing them two ways. I'm ready to just kind of send the help wherever it needs to be. Once again, Giant Slayer, crazy badge. It makes it really hard to play the defense as a 6'9" with this type of spacing. And I will give that credit to the offense that they're playing. My whole point was really just the 3-out offense creates good spacing for the paint, and it's so opposite of what people would think, with the 3 shooters leading to more 3-point opportunities. In my opinion, it really just leads to more dunks and more layups. Now right here, Apollo with a dog shot. That was so fire, man. Crazy fade. We're able to get that off, take a 14-11 lead. And again, we're getting our 3-pointers off the fact that I still have an inside on the court. I know it's getting repetitive and annoying for you guys to hear in the video probably, but that's the whole point of the video. I want to talk about the truth about spacing in 2K23. And the truth is that an inside doesn't exactly kill your 3-hunting game, as long as you play good defense and can support the fact that teams may force you into taking your 2s eventually. But again, we still have offensive rebounding to fall back on as well. I know it hasn't been shining through in this gameplay too much, but it's still an option, 100%. So now look at this offensive possession right here as well. So really good execution, it's just we are a little bit sloppy with it. So as you can see, I end up kind of open, and now I hit Tonic, whereas Apollo was actually a little bit more open than I originally thought. And as you can see, now both guys drop down to me, the slip and the roll, and as you can see, we get Apollo wide open on the 3-pointer. Now here's the thing about this type of offense. As you can see, I end up pretty open in the paint. Now, someone wants to still account for this because obviously if we keep getting 2s and we can hold them to 2s, we're going to win. We have the 1-point advantage, and that's the fact of this lineup is if we can keep leads and play good defense, we're willing to take stuff like this, and the defense knows it as well. And as you can see, we get 2 guys to drop back on it instead of 1, and this is just how miscommunications happen. They both do the exact same thing. They try and play the lane. They thought the other person was going to stay up with the guard on that slip, and now we just get Apollo a wide open 3-pointer off creating pressure in the paint. You can't just spam pick and pops every single time and expect to get 3s. What it's going to lead to is exactly what these guys are getting with Yampa, which was obviously just kind of dunks in the paint off spacing in the corners. Now right there, we also kind of tweak, but we're able to kind of just make up for it as well, where Yampa ends up with a little bit of an open 3-point attempt, but we still hold him to a dunk off that. And now Apollo with the rim run, and it is what it is. We have a 4-point lead, 2-possession lead, and this goes a long way. Now we just have to really watch their 3-pointers. They're going to be hunting it really hard. I'm not overplaying one way at all. As you can see, I was playing my disciplined defense, boxing him into the wing and forcing him toward my help. Once again, forcing him to my help, and this is like rinse and repeat, man. It's over and over again. I'm taking away his middle every single time. Now that I end up having to reset on defense, I'm once again going to take away his middle if he goes left. I'm making sure he can't move back to the middle and back to the right. And as you can see, once you get into these areas right here, this deep wing stuff, because of the lack of spacing and the lack of slipping and cutting from the corners, and ironically, he's actually trying to pop slip to the top, and it would have just created a switch for us anyway. But even if, obviously, he stayed in the corner right here, Tonic can still jump to that, he can still contest it, and even if he gets stuck in the jump and he bails out to the corner, I can rotate to his corner as well. My whole point here is the double spot ups in the corner with an ISO from the point guard, while it may be the 3-out offense, it leads to bad spacing on the 3-point line. You can rely on things like this, where you can rely on the fact that if I wall him into the middle right here, I got Apollo here to contest it if he runs to the corner. You know what wouldn't happen, for instance, if this guy was a pick and roller, is he would end up in the paint, and then Yampa would have a whole half of the court to work on right here, unless we double teamed him, and in which case it's kind of inefficient to do. Now, pick and pops can still lead to this as well. It's actually what this guy was trying to do right here, was to pop slip out the corner, and as you can see, he tries to run up to the top to maybe to get a little switch for Tonic to switch onto the guard. But either way, my whole point is the spacing on the 3-point line isn't exactly there, and it leads to us getting really good contests on their 3-pointers, whereas they don't really get good contests on ours because the threat of the slip and the roll and the inside big is still there, the speed on it. But anyway, there's a second gameplay against Yampa right there, and I really do have to reiterate and just restate the fact that he is a really good player on this game and has been for years and years and years, man. I remember, and this is actually a really funny old story, where I go back to with Yampa is all the way back to 2K20, and we were the number 1 and number 3 teams in the Pro-Am where it was ranked. In 2K20 early in the year, ranked Pro-Am 3v3 and 5v5 was absolutely popping. It was so fire. I was getting so many good videos off of that. It's actually where I started to blow up off too. It was the number 1 Pro-Am team versus number 3 Pro-Am team videos and stuff like that, or number 2, number 5, number 10, stuff like that. And it went crazy, and this was the 3v3 lineup that we ended up playing against as well. Yampa was at the guard, I had Kitchen playing like Apollo, and then we had Tonic kind of playing like Dope. It's a different aspect for sure. Dope was on like a 6'9" play lock, but he was still corner spot up, corner defense, and me and Kitchen were the PNRD as well, as far as like what me and Apollo were doing right here. So it's kind of ironic. We actually ended up playing the exact same way against them, and it was again us going back to playing against Yampa. This dude is an absolute beast on the game, and I really do want to give him his respect, even though he didn't play well against us. Again, I think our scheme just ends up working really good against what they like to do. That ISO at the PG really allows us to still front the corners and really get that help off the wings and the pinch and stuff like that. The pick and pops, it is what it is, because I can still tell my teammates to like funnel them back to where the help defense is. And the lack of spacing, the lack of slipping, and the pressure that off-ball players are putting on the paint, it really leads to us being able to kind of box them in and do certain things that we'd like to on defense. But anyway, that is the point of the video. I'm sure you guys heard it enough, me stressing it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to them, noties, all good stuff. And like always, try to one to 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put Yampa in the comments or put TNB in the comments so it supports me all the way through. But anyway, that is all. I hope you all enjoyed, and take these, man. Peace.